Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Hara in the WVLT News read on the search for Summer Wells, and more specifically, the amount of money that has been contributed to a reward fund to generate tips about her whereabouts and to help find the little girl who is still at the center of an Amber Alert more than 2 weeks after she disappeared from presumably her family home in Hawkins County in East Tennessee. This is a little girl we're talking about, Summer Wells, 5 years old. We're hearing from search crews who set up a bank account where people can donate money for a reward fund, that just $250 are in that account, considerably low considering two other donors who came forward and said they were going to commit thousands of dollars. So we're learning a little bit more about why the amount is so low and how we're accounting for those big checks that were promised by two other donors. If you'll remember, somebody sent a $20,000 check to a newspaper in Kingsport. The newspaper said, "We can't do anything with this. You need to come pick up your check and give it to the appropriate authorities." That person came and picked up the check, and it's unclear the status of that money. Do they intend to donate the money if a legitimate tip comes in that leads to the discovery of Summer? It's unknown. Our crews have repeatedly gone to the home of the person who wrote that initial $20,000 check, have been unable to make contact with that person. There was also a $10,000 check that was written by a donor. And we've learned through the search team that has set up this fund that that person has decided to sit on that check and hand it over once a legitimate tip comes through that leads to the discovery of Summer Wells. So that leaves $250 that have been contributed to this fund. We also did a story last week where we told you about a teenager who goes to ETSU. And that teenager told us he donated $2,000. So Sam Luther, our reporter who has been covering that angle to this story, reached out to that teenager last night, heard back from him today. He says that he actually deposited that check this morning into that reward fund. So we are circling back with the search crew that is operating that fund to confirm that the money is now in the bank account. So that clears up a little bit of why there isn't more money in that account. We're also learning more about the search.
More than
We're
100
take
agencies.
you over the scene here and just give you an idea why it was such a difficult search for crews. You can see the mountainous rural area around Summer Wells' home that they had to comb through. We know now that search crews have scaled back their efforts considerably. And we're also hearing from a man who was part of that search effort. We long heard, you know what, within 2 days, we usually find the person that we're looking for. Unfortunately, that is not the case here.
More than 100 agencies searched miles of land in this Beech Creek community, many out of state like Virginia, Georgia, Ohio, Alabama, and from South Carolina, the Spartanburg Rescue Squad.
When you get that call, obviously you just want to try to provide as many people that you can just to kind of help contribute to the common goal.
That goal, finding missing 5-year-old Summer Wells, but Robbie Swafford says the terrain and intense heat were almost overwhelming.
As the day progresses and the heat increases, it becomes tougher. Usually when you get that second task assignment in one day, you're starting to feel it a little bit more than you were initially. If you were not right there where the missing person could possibly be, you may miss them just because of all the various circumstances of terrain and dense brush.
More than 700 tips have been submitted to the TBI, but no significant leads in the case. Now, Stacey Payne with Crime Stoppers hopes that eventually reward money will prompt someone to step forward.
Well, are they going to see a break in the next few days? I wouldn't want to say anything about that. I will say as reward money comes up, you may see more and more people getting active.
Payne says it's no secret that a cash reward brings in more tips, which could yield to better results. Swafford still believes that this missing 5-year-old can safely return home.
At the end of the day, you have to go in there holding on to hope. Hope's a great thing. You always hold on to that whenever you're searching.
In Knoxville, Sam Luther, WVLT News.
And speaking of hope, the latest update from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which is leading the charge on this Amber Alert and the continued search for Summer Wells, tweeted that she disappeared from Hawkins County 2 weeks and 2 days ago. They say, quote, "We aren't giving up." We are hearing, of course, from Crime Stoppers officials who say, yeah, this reward money could actually be the break that we need in this case. It's kind of sad to think about the fact that it takes money for people to come forward with information that could potentially lead to a missing child. But that is the state of the world that we are in now. The TBI saying we want your tips, but we want those tips to be credible. They say they are getting bogged down with a lot of calls and emails from people who have seen something on social media, whether it be speculation or rumor. They say those reports and those tips do not help them. They only slow the investigation. If you've seen Summer or have good information about where she may be, you should call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Thanks for joining us here for this WVLT News update. We'll continue to follow this story on air and online. The best way to stay in the know is to get the WVLT News app. We'll send alerts, big developments about this story straight to your phone through the WVLT News app.